Rachem, Rachem no Hashem, Elokeinu Rachem. V'yam Yisrael Elamecho Rachem, V'yam Yerushalayim Irecho Rachem, Rachem, Rachem.
Hello everyone, this is the FLIMSY 3 weeks, number 8, and today is the proof that these weeks are flimsy. And that is, let's go to the real McCoy, let's go to the climax of these 3 weeks, let's go to before, during, and after Tisha Bav. When it comes to Tisha Bav, there is almost no year in which the laws of Tisha Bav remain the same. And I will explain. Let's start from before Tisha Bav. So before Tisha Bav, we have a law regarding the Su'udam of Seket, the last meal we eat before the fast. It shouldn't be a happy meal. It shouldn't be a festive meal. So if at the Seder you put 2 tafshilin, 2 cooked items on the Seder plate, dafka on Erev Tisha Bav, we defray from the meal. And the Shulchan Aruch paskins, Erev Tisha B'Av, lo yochal adam b'su'udam of Seket basar v'lo yishte yayin. There's a prohibition to eat meat and wine. The customs of meat and wine during the 9 days are all custom, but at the Su'udam of Seket, at the actual meal before the fast, it's a halacha in the Gemara, paskin by Shulchan Aruch, and lo yochal shnei tafshilin, and you shouldn't eat 2 cooked items. So at that final meal before the fast, you can have rice, you can have an egg, but you can't have both rice and an egg, and definitely no meat and wine. However, that's only on a year where Erev Tisha Bav is a Monday night, is a Wednesday night, but if it's like this year, namely on Shabbos, Shabbos is Erev Tisha Bav, the Shulchan Aruch paskins, Simchal Tisha B'Av be'echad b'Shabbat, like this year it comes out on Sunday. Oh, Shechal b'Shabbat v'nitchal la'achar Shabbat, it comes out on Shabbos, but we push off the fast to Sunday. Then, at the Su'udam of Seket, at the final meal before the fast, which will also be probably Shalosh Shudas, Ochel Basar, yayin besudam of Seket, you eat meat, you drink wine, uma'aleh shulchano afilu k'sudat Shlomo be'et malchuto. You can have a festive meal like Shlomo HaMelech had at the height of his career when he had a lot of money in the bank. So as you could see, before Tisha B'Av, you have to know which year you're holding. If it's a year in which Erev Tisha B'Av is a Monday or a Wednesday, there's one set of laws. But if it's a Shabbos, or it's a Shabbos that's pushed off to Sunday, the laws change. Next, let's go to Tisha B'Av itself. You would say on Tisha B'Av, the laws are the same, whether it's a pushed off Tisha B'Av, a not pushed off Tisha B'Av, a Sunday Tisha B'Av, a Tuesday Tisha B'Av, a Thursday Tisha B'Av, everything should be the same. Well, here's your surprise. So, if a Tisha B'Av comes out on Tisha B'Av itself, namely the 9th of Av, the Shulchan Aruch paskins that if alabrit lovesh b'gadim acherim achlo levanim mamash, he should change his clothes into other nicer clothing, but not totally festive clothing that he would do on a regular bris. However, that's the psak of the Shulchan Aruch. The Ramah comes along and says, V'avi haben v'hamol v'asandak, those 3, namely the father of the child, the mohel, and the one that holds the baby during the bris, kulam nikra'im ba'alei brit, u'mutarim lilosh bigdei Shabbos lachar shagamar hakinot, uva'in limul hatinok. The Ramah is a little more mekel, and a Tisha B'Av that comes out on a Tuesday, on a Thursday, or like this year, Tisha B'Av itself is on a Sunday, then the father, the mohel, and the sandik can wear their Shabbos clothing for the bris itself. That's if Tisha B'Av comes out on Tisha B'Av. But if the Tisha B'Av comes out on Shabbos and we push it off to Sunday, whole new set of laws. Comes along the Shulchan Aruch in the very next seif and says, Tisha B'Av shechal liyot b'Shabbat v'nitchal liyom rishon, ba'alabrit mitpalel mincha b'odayom gadol. The father of the child and the mohel, and the sandik, they all daven early mincha, let's say a half an hour after midday. Ve'eino mashlim ta'anito lefi sheyom tov shelo. And they don't even finish the fast because it's like their Yom Tov. And the Mishnah Berurah adds in the name of the Eliyahu Rabbah, in the name of the Moshe Babusha Yom Tov, this is not only for a bris. Some say if indeed a Tisha B'Av comes out on Shabbos and Sunday is Yud B'Av, the 10th of Av, in which we actually fast, then even a pidyon haben would qualify for this because that's also Yom Tov. And in this case, you don't have a sandik, but you have Av v'hakohen, the 2 people that are important in a pidyon haben, the father and the kohen. So if indeed the 31st day and only if the 31st day comes out on Yud Be'av, which happens to be the day in which we will fast because Tisha Bav came out on Shabbos, Tisha Bav ends early. So as you can see, even during Tisha Bav itself, the laws change from year to year depending on when Tisha B'Av comes out. Well, we talked about before Tisha B'Av. We talked about during Tisha B'Av. Let's go to after Tisha B'Av. Well known that after Tisha B'Av, we don't exactly lift the morning practices right away. We break our fast when Tisha B'Av is over. However, the Shulchan Aruch paskins, Tisha B'Av le'eit erev etzitu eish b'eichav v'nisraf hashkiyat hachama b'yom ha'asiri. In the first Beis HaMikdash, they actually burnt the Beis HaMikdash towards evening of the 9th of Av, and it basically burned for 24 hours until into the 10th of Av. Because of that, we continue certain morning practices until the 10th of Av. So this year, that would basically translate to into Monday, the day after Tisha B'Av. How does that work? There are two opinions. The Shulchan Aruch, and most Sfardim follow this, says, basically, the only two morning practices left are not eating meat and drinking wine. The Ramah is a little more machmir, at least the way the Mishnah Berurah understands him. The Ramah says, on the one hand, it's not totally the whole 10th day, but rather, because the Beis HaMikdash burned for 24 hours, so we go from that period of time in the 9th to that period of time of the 10th. So since on the 9th it was in the afternoon, we basically go from midday on the 9th to the midday of the 10th. Midday of the 10th, we lift the morning practices. And the Mishnah Berurah indeed says, we're a little more machmir than the Sfardim. It's not just meat and wine, but rather, basically 9 days continue into the 10th, this year till Monday, until midday. So at midday you could shave, take a shower, do your laundry, etc. That's what happens if indeed Tisha B'Av comes out on Tisha B'Av. Namely, Tisha B'Av comes out on either Tuesday, or it comes out like this year on a Sunday. However, what happens if Tisha B'Av is pushed off from Shabbos to Sunday? And what happens if Tisha B'Av comes out on a Thursday? All of a sudden, the laws change. So if Tisha B'Av came out on Shabbos and we pushed it into Sunday, then we have an interesting issue, because basically Monday is not the 10th of Av, it's the 11th of Av. And therefore comes along the Ramah and says, Im chal Tisha B'Av b'Shabbat v'nitchal liyom Aleph mutar lechol basar v'yayin yom Bet aval balayla asur b'pnei avelut shel yom. Basically, the only thing that's left on the night after Tisha B'Av when we break our fast is meat and wine. But everything else is lifted. So, if Tisha B'Av comes out on Shabbos and is pushed off to Sunday, Sunday night you can do laundry, you could shave, you could do all the 9-day stuff off, except for meat and wine until Monday morning. And if Tisha B'Av comes out on Thursday, which I remind you is a day before Friday, which is a day before Shabbos, comes the Mishnah Berurah and says, Kishachal Tisha B'Av b'yom hey, she'az yom asiri hu erev Shabbos, mutar b'chol zeh lichvod Shabbat. So the minute Tisha B'Av ends Thursday night, you can start doing laundry, you can start shaving. The only thing left probably is meat and wine, but that we can wait off on. Ultimately, if Tisha B'Av comes out on Thursday, the laws change. So as you can see, I mixed you up. Basically, before, during, and after Tisha B'Av, the laws change from year to year, which is the proof, in my opinion, that these days are flimsy. We don't go ahead and change Sukkot when it comes out on Shabbos. But Tisha B'Av, you better know which year you're holding. And that is the proof that Tisha B'Av is flimsy and one day will change into a yontif.
Yeah.